Joining us right now to weigh in, Republican Congressman Sean Duffy of Wisconsin. Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us. What do you make of these escalating war of words?
Well, first we have to look back, Maria, and the passivity that came from the last administrations hasn't worked to keep North Korea in a box. They've continued to advance their armaments. They now have nuclear weapons. They're working on intercontinental ballistic missiles, and they're a direct threat to the United States of America. I think it's appropriate for Donald Trump to be crystal clear with North Korea what's going to happen if they continue to escalate, which is they're going to meet fire and fury. That is a true statement, and I'm happy the president's putting that out there to make sure everyone understands what we are going to do if they continue with their bad acts.
But does the president need the authority from Congress to do anything to take this up a notch in terms of military?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if the president's talking as the chief executive, what the United States will do if this continues to ramp up with North Korea. But if we have to take a step back, and I know the left is freaking out about these comments, but the left's approach of just kind of wringing your hands and wetting your bed hasn't done anything to get North Korea to stand down. This is a time for tough leadership. This is a time to meet a bully on the playground with crystal clear facts and say, listen, if you mess with us, you are going to get punched really, really hard, and you'll probably get wiped out.
Yeah, what did you say earlier?
Let's try a new approach.
Let's not diplomacy our way into this. What did you call it?
Yeah, we're diplomating our way into a nuclear North Korea, just like we are in Iran. Congressman, I mean, it's not even just leftists. It's establishment Republicans that have decried the president's words after so much, frankly, appeasement that's led us to this. You know, but back in your district, this is a big question, I think, as it pertains to conflict. Conflict requires eventually the support of the American people. Do folks in Wisconsin or Minnesota or elsewhere understand why this is so important, and would they back a strong action, knowing that there are no great military options there? There are going to be consequences, whether we like it or not, but a nuclear-tipped North Korea that can affect us is just not sustainable. Would the people back it?
Well, right now, I'd tell you, people's hair are not on fire, you know, back here in Wisconsin or in my district. They trust the president. And they do understand this concept of peace through strength. That if you want to take us further away from armed conflict, you have to show American resolve and American strength. They get that. They saw it with Ronald Reagan. They're seeing it with Trump. So no, they haven't left the president. They will support strong action. But I think, Pete, you and I are on the same page, I hope. Responding to North Korea militarily is a last option. We want to exhaust every opportunity out there to resolve this peacefully. And I think what's happening now is that China is seeing how serious this is and how this is escalating, and they better get off the sidelines and get into the engagement between the United States and North Korea and say, we got to help calm the waters. Otherwise, this could go really bad, not just for North Korea, but for us too in China.
The Wall Street Journal editorial page points out today that the language coming out of the Trump administration is not just directed at the Kim regime, it's directed at China.
Right.
And so some comments aren't going to change the behavior of China. China could cut off the flow of oil going into North Korea. It is a lot that it could do. But expect to see more and more sanctions on Chinese companies, on financial institutions, called secondary sanctions, on any institution in China doing business with North Korea. That is another lever that they've only begun to kind of pull down on in the Trump administration.
Yeah, right. Kim Jong-un's narrative in North Korea all about his own power? What is going to be his incentive to say to his people, this is too grave of a threat, I'm going to have to drop all of this stuff that I've been spending my entire life and my father's life trying to work towards?
I don't think he cares what the people say.
And it's not going to be sanctions. Whether we can I don't believe we economically sanction our way to denuclearization in North Korea. It doesn't mean I'm pro-conflict, but let's be clear-eyed about this. We've tried it and tried it again, and history's never shown that a dictator whose his survival is tied to nuclear weapons gives them up.
But it did work.
And the lesson is Gaddafi, and he died in a ditch. So these dictators look at that and they realize, I've got a choice.
We want to turn to the
president.
You
do give him a pathway out, don't you? I mean, I was going to say, Maria, you want to give him a pathway out from nuclear armaments to, you know, re-engaging with the rest of the world. And when we increase the pain, not only militarily, but with China sanctions, and if you cut off the flow of trade between North Korea and China, that is extreme pressure that could bring them back to the table and rethink their course of action.